So, what is message context? Well, if you've ever heard people talk about direct versus indirect communication when they're talking about low and high context cultures, they're talking about the message context. So, the message context is the information that is conveyed in a verbal message that's either written or spoken that is not in the words themselves. So, in direct communication, the bulk of information is in the words themselves. People say what they mean and mean what they say. So, meaning is explicit and it's verbal. In indirect communication, um, the bulk of information may not be in the words that you read or the words that you hear. Information is conveyed with nonverbal cues in the way the message is conveyed. So, this can be things like tone of voice or expression in someone's face as they're saying a message. It can be all sorts of cues in the context that provide information beyond the words themselves. So sometimes what is not said is more important than what is said. So, what this means is that in indirect communication, the listener has to take a more active role to understand the meaning of a message. So, the receiver of a message needs to pay attention to these nonverbal cues, body posture, tone of voice, things like that. They need to pay attention to what specific words are used and what specific words are not used. They also need to pay attention to feelings and sort of emotions, right? That may be telling them something that's not being said. Um, so, feelings and emotions can both guide behavior and also convey meaning, and also they can be used to understand or infer meaning. Communication may seem ambiguous. Messages may seem ambiguous. This can sometimes be a way of avoiding conflict or disagreement. So, in indirect cultures, people may be more likely to avoid disagreement by maybe asking questions instead of stating a position. Or they might refer to some sort of a past incident that contains information in how that was handled in the past, that the speaker wants the listener to infer that that's what they want in this situation as well. So these are just some examples of direct versus indirect communication. But the easiest way to remember it is that with direct communication in the message context, the meaning is all in the words. And with indirect communication, most of the meaning is not in the words themselves.